Alec Hanson, and we're here in Miami, Florida, about to give a marketing makeover to Mario Cerrato. This is brand new.
Look like it's time to rise and get in the game. Gonna change some branding, not afraid to fly. I can't even wait to finally touch down with the camera click. Let's light up that stage. Time to start your brand new golden age. It's your time to shine. Cameras on you. Brand new.
Mario, we made it. We're here, dude. We're here.
All right.
You ready to go?
I'm psyched.
Do you have
honestly.
any clue what's going to happen today?
A little bit. I cheated a little bit, but I definitely tried to stay out of the process on the day that it was happening with the other loan officer because I do want an organic and real reaction and surprise to really everything that's going to happen.
Well, good,
because,
dude.
This is something I've been wanting to do.
Yeah,
I'm not capable of doing it on my own.
Well, I don't know, man. We're gonna do a lot today, but I gotta tell you, just working with you for a long time, watching what you do, you got a huge heart. You work super hard. You care about your team. You care about your clients. You lean into new stuff. You're on video. You're doing really good stuff.
Thanks.
So today's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be more fun than ever before.
All right.
So this first segment, we call it Brand You. And one of the things that we need to start with is finding the foundation. So when you're looking at a marketing strategy and you're going to try to do something and you're going to try to make an impact on your community and on the people you work with, you always have to start from a foundation of what matters to you. You have to start from this core part, or else you get distracted.
Right.
So have you ever seen people on social media who may be doing content, but they look like they're all over the place?
Yeah.
You can feel it, like they just seem sporadic. It's because they haven't centered down, distilled down their message or their purpose or their intent. And so they just end up flowing where the wind blows them. And so what we're gonna do in this segment is we're gonna ask you questions. Okay. We're gonna start digging in. We wanna find out what makes you you, because the ultimate expression of brand is letting your own authentic self come out. And so that's very difficult, by the way. And it's also a process. So it's not gonna happen from one session. You're gonna figure this out as you do content, as you continue to step in. You'll be like, you know what, I thought this mattered to me, but what really matters to me is this. And you're gonna find it more on your path. But so let's get into the easy stuff. Why'd you start into lending? How'd you get into lending?
It was a neighbor.
A neighbor?
It was a neighbor. So I was in the Marine Corps for 6 years. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I went to FIU and I got my bachelor's degree.
Hold on, why'd you join the Marine Corps?
The real reason is, I've always admired the Marines, right, as a kid. And my whole family's in construction, so my dad pretty much was not gonna pay for my college, and he just gave me two options: either you join the family business or you join the Army. He called everything the Army.
Fair
right?
enough.
So I was born in Honduras, so I'm first generation, immigrant here in the U.S. And so I knew I was going to be in the Marine Corps, so since the 10th grade, I was already hanging out with the recruiters.
Kidding.
I would go to their car washes and their benefits and all that stuff. And I even went to Paris Island in 11th grade, and I saw boot camp in action.
No kidding.
And people still tell me, and you still want to join? And I still wanted to join because they used to beat the crap out of you back then in those days, right? And so when I got out of the Marine Corps, when I was in, I knew I wasn't going to do it I wasn't going to be a lifer, as they call it.
Okay.
So I got out, and they paid for my college, which is awesome.
It's amazing.
I mean, the VA benefit is fantastic.
Yeah.
And so I got my bachelor's degree at FIU, and in IT. So
really?
I'm an IT geek.
Yeah, I can tell.
Right? Programming,
I get it now.
networking, and all that stuff. And so I took a job as in low-level IT job, and then I worked my way up to a manager there, and I was doing really, really well. So 1998 comes around, I buy new construction here in the suburb in South Florida.
Yeah.
And one of the neighbors owned a mortgage company, right? And so we both would visit and watch the house being built, that kind of thing. Very nice house in a very nice neighborhood. And then we moved in and we became good friends and vacation and everything. And he always used to tell me, get your mortgage license, get your mortgage license. And a couple of years in, I decided to do it.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I got my mortgage license, what do you want me to do, right? And so he had me do a list of everyone I know, get their rates,
so
and what they owe.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's
and so I gave him a list of like 25, 30 people.
Yeah.
And he gave me the plan. I executed the plan. And 45 days later, he gave me a check for like $28,000 in 30, 45 days.
Yep.
And I was like, there's something here, right? And then here's the other thing. All the people that I did those refinances for, I helped them.
Yeah.
And that was the angle that I wasn't thinking about that really hit me more than the money, because I was making plenty of money. That was not the issue. That wasn't, the real reason why I went into it after I saw what I saw. And then I said, all right, I did it. He goes, I said, what do I do now? He goes, okay, do it again on the people that you didn't refinance and give me another list. I did that and hugely successful within the first 6 months.
Were you just calling people?
I was just calling people I knew.
Yeah. And you're like, hey.
And then I would end it with, do you know anyone else that I can help?
Yeah.
And it went into that, and then the final phase of it was like, okay, do you know any realtors? I said, well, I have a lot of friends that are realtors. The realtor that sold me the house. And so I attacked those realtors, and I started getting purchase business. Now I didn't really know what I was doing too much,
Sure.
but I consider myself kind of smart, college educated, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was able to take on to it really quick, and I immediately saw the flaws, I would say, in his system.
Yeah.
Everything was paper, everything was manual,
Sure.
everything. And so, so what happened is the company that I worked for as an IT manager was bought out by another company in New York, and their IT department took over. And so I got a nice severance package.
Yeah, you're out. Yep.
And I said, you know what? I can do it better. And so I opened up a mortgage company.
Bro.
And I never looked back. So I owned my own company for about 12 years, and then I joined retail.
So I gotta ask the question, because you alluded to it, but your story is like a lot of people's story, which is rad. You find the industry by accident.
Right.
A neighbor, a friend, a father sucked me in,
Mm-hmm.
and then you realize, wow, the opportunity here is amazing, and you start to realize you can make a great living and make a great career. But then you mentioned something deeper, is like you realize you're actually helping people.
Yeah.
And so, as you look back at your career now, how many years now?
1998.
Yep.
So whatever that is, yeah.
Yeah. So you look back at your career now, and you're like, what has made you stay? Like the deep stuff, the helping
Yeah.
people stuff. Like, what is it?
Yeah. So I realized that there's a lot of misrepresentation
Oh, good comment.
and malfeasance and
Yep.
ill intent in this industry.
Yep.
And in my small part, I wanted to be the light, right? I wanted to be the guy that wasn't trying to go for the jugular. I wanted to be the guy that put the borrower in a better position than when I first met them.
Yeah.
So, and I did that mostly through refinancing.
Why is that important to you?
It's important because I think there's a lot of unfairness in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that just in my small contribution, anything that I do for a customer, I can always be proud of that and put them in them and their family in a better position financially, at least.
So, and I can really hear your heart for people there, but like, not everybody has that, and that's okay. I'm not trying to judge on people, but like, you can tell you really care about that. Like, why is that? Why do you care?
I mean, being first generation, trying to realize the American dream like everybody else.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's attainable, and I know that just from my education and from my understanding of the market and America as a whole.
Yeah.
I see that the quickest way to build a legacy for your children and for your family is through real estate,
Yeah.
through ownership, because it's the one vehicle that's pretty tried and true. You buy a house now, and in 5 years, you got yourself $50,000 to $100,000 in equity,
Yeah.
which you can never do if you have a blue collar job, or even if you have a white collar job. To be honest with you, it's very difficult to do, to build that nest egg in that way.
It's true. All right, let me go another direction with you. This is an interesting one. So, you've done a lot of deals. You've helped a lot of families.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of people that look up to you, that you mentor, that you work with. If we went and asked your past customers, your referral partners, even your teammates, to describe you and your character in like 5 words, 4 or 5 words, what words do you hope they would say?
I know some that they would say that I wouldn't like, but I hope that they would say sincerity.
Okay.
I hope that they would say has a good heart.
Yeah.
I know they're going to say that I'm hard because I'm, with my background, I have expectations of results.
Yeah.
And I have low tolerance for people that don't like working. So that sometimes can translate into something that really, you know,
I understand.
Yeah. And I would say smart, I think, hopefully that's important to me, right?
Yeah.
And resourceful.
Ooh, I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
How big's your family?
I have 5 daughters.
5 daughters.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No sons.
Oh
not,
my
not
God.
happening. I tried a couple times, 3, 4, 5 times, it didn't work.
How old are the daughters?
I have a 36, 26, 24, 16, and 9. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
That's a range right there, bro.
it's a big range. Yeah.
You did it.
And the last one was the last attempt of having a son, but we just named her with a boy's name, Noah. Just dropped the H.
Just had to do it. That's a cute name. I like that name.
That's as close as I was gonna get.
So, same question. If we had asked your daughters to describe you, what do you hope they would say?
Loving, supportive, funny.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I'm a jokester.
What kind of funny though? Like dad jokes or like pranks or like silliness?
All of that.
All of it. Just like
All of it.
any type of like. Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
What else?
Yeah.
Jeez,
Anything else? Those three good ones. You don't
No,
have to.
let's stick to those 3.
Okay. I love it. How long have you been married?
2005, so
Good chunk of time.
yeah, 17, 18 years.
What would she say you are?
I would say that I think she'd be proud of me.
I love that, man.
I think she knows that I'm supportive
Yeah.
and responsible. I think those are encapsulate.
Where's the hardness? Where's the holding people accountable stuff with the family
At home?
side?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Are you softy? Are you the softy?
I am softy in
Are
my
you like
old age.
the
Don't ask my 36-year-old because she got the brunt of it.
She got the hard.
She got the hard Mario. The rest, especially these last 2, they get whatever they want from me.
I
Mom
love it,
says
bro.
no, Dad says yes.
Says yes.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes.
So, a couple more questions, and we're going down this path, and this is the good stuff. What do you value? It's a big question. So
yeah.
take it any way you want.
I would say family, faith, and I put a lot of value in my team. Like I stock in my legacy and what I've done with my team and what I can do and will do for people. I think it's very important that I do more than mortgage for them. I have a couch, so I have a couch
Yeah.
in my so
Therapy.
Sometimes you gotta
get
forget
real.
about you gotta get real and you gotta forget about mortgage.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes down to even just when I have a loan officer that's never made it big and they make it big, I talk to them about financial planning. I talk to them about 401k, the importance of it. I even show them examples in my own life, and I think it's important that as they come up and they start making this money, I warn them to live within their means. And then sometimes we just talk about family. You know, sometimes there's problems. There's a lot of mental health issues.
Yeah.
And I try to just advise whatever I can on that.
What are your non-negotiable core values? Like, what do you stand on? Like this stuff is not changing.
I stand on hard work, discipline, and those 2 things are very hard in this industry. I guess you could say in any industry, but because you're 100% commission in these jobs, if you don't have those 2 things, you more than likely will not succeed.
If someone's going to work for you, what can they expect?
Accountability, right? They can expect new ideas.
Innovate.
And they can expect expert support on their products and their guidelines. And they can expect some social media advice.
Yeah. All right, let me show you something. So editors are gonna hate me because you can't see this, so you're gonna have to use your movie magic to like put it behind us or whatever you do. So when we talk about personal branding and kind of foundational stuff, this archetype process that was designed for corporations, I find to be very interesting and helpful as like a model to try to distill down, you know, what you stand for. Now that's very complex because companies you can really zone it in, but humans are multifaceted. Like it's interesting when I was talking to you about your work stuff, right? Disciplined, hard, accountable, resourceful. But when you flip over to dad life, you know, you have funny and supportive.
Oh, yeah.
So you are multifaceted, and that's humans.
Yeah.
Like we don't show up in the same way in every place. Of course not. That's not natural. So this isn't a perfect kind of process, but I want you to think about this. So look at the outlaw. I love the outlaw. Its rules are made to be broken.
Yeah.
They're disruptive, rebellious, combative. You don't have to settle for the status quo. Demand more, take it. And like I love, you know, Harley Davidson. Like you can just see the outlaw brand embodied by Harley Davidson.
This looks very much like my my annual review at one of the jobs that I've had.
Really? So walk through these, and what'll happen is you'll start seeing ideas, because when you look at all the things that you stand for, look at the principles you believe in, look at the values you hold core to your personality, your soul, what matters to you. The more we can refine that and distill that down, the more you can figure out what place to speak from and how to prepare your content and how to kind of show up as a strategy once we know the foundation. So I like the juxtaposition of these together. So then next is the magician, right? So magician, Disney's the best example, but it's like it can happen, this mystical, magical thing. And maybe there's a little fun in there, a little like surprise. There's the hero kind of brands. And this is like, where there's a will, there's a way. This is honest, brave. Like I always think of the hero brands as like first into the breach. Like as a leader, like the hero is like not someone in the background. It's the person who's like, I'm gonna do it first. And you know, Nike's a great example of the hero brand, just do it, all that fun stuff. Obviously the Lover is not necessarily a sales organization, but you can see originators or salespeople who have this caring, loving side to them, and that's how they express their brand and themselves. So there is connection to these opportunities. The ruler's interesting. So the ruler can come off elitist, but it's also commanding. And so you think of salespeople or brands or personalities who are very commanding. And it doesn't mean that they're rude. It just means they're gonna tell you what to do. They're gonna instruct. They're gonna do what I do type of a thing. And you may know leaders like this too, who are, these people, maybe they do sit back and they do command like a general, as opposed to the hero who's running into the front. Caregiver. You know, this is. I'm sure you've got, you know, processors, support staff, and some loan officers are very caregiver. The flip side of caregiver, you know, there could be like a protector version of this. You have the everyman who is the opposite of the ruler almost, non-elitist. Just like I'm you, you're me. And when you talk to people, it's like you're on the same side of the desk as them. You know, you're really like, you're not judgmental, you're helpful, and you see things like Target or IKEA. Jester's fun because I used to tell loan officers to stop dancing on TikTok. Like stop being a goofball.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I didn't like it. And then the reason I didn't like it is because I was personally turned off from it. It's not who I would choose to work with. So my own bias was coming on top of it, which is normal. Clients have biases. But then I've watched certain people who are really authentically goofy. And that doesn't mean they're not smart. It doesn't mean they're not thoughtful and caring or intelligent. They just prefer to take life a little easier. And then I realized, oh, there's a lot of clients like that too. There's a lot of humans like that too. I always use this example. I'll show it to you later. There's a realtor named Grandma Nat. And she dances in her listings. But it's not like, it's ridiculous dancing. It's like jock jams dancing. And I watched it and I was like, oh, she's just living her best life. Like she gives zero shits. This is hysterical. She loves this. And if you don't like her, She doesn't care. And she's like an older lady. And I'm like, this is authentically the jester. And this is winning her deals. This is winning her listings. This is winning her opportunities. So, then you've got the creator, the innocent, the sage. I like the sage. The sage is a lot of lenders or a lot of pieces of lenders because it's the advice. It's Yoda.
Yeah.
It's not somebody who's going to be in the fight with you like the hero or commanding you like the general, but it's somebody who's going to like guide you, give you good advice and good wisdom. The explorer doesn't translate a ton to sales, but you can see people who are out there on the edge. And these are like, the way I see that in personal branding is the people that are really trying new stuff all the time. They're on the cutting edge of like AI. They're out there like deep faking themselves, even though it's ridiculous, because they're trying to play the edge. And so I share these with you because first I want to know which of these you felt a natural draw towards, where you're like,
wow,
it's a lot. And by the way, you're multifaceted, so it's probably a blend.
Yeah.
It's probably a blend, but there's probably a dominant and a subdominant. There's probably something like that. What's it out
I
for
hate to say it, but I identify a lot with the outlaw and the ruler. A little bit on the caregiver.
Yeah. What about the outlaw drew you to that?
So it goes back to originating, right? And,
Yeah.
and to like helping loan officers figure out loopholes and how to. I like to be right at the edge of the guideline was still acceptable. The
I know
gray
what you're
area,
saying.
I like the gray area. The ambiguity lets us get a lot of loans through and help a lot of families.
Yeah.
Whereas a rigid lender with overlays would not allow that. And so that's the part I like, and it's no joke. I don't know. I don't know if I should mention the company, but in one of my reviews, my manager, who was a divisional, told me that I had to tone down my combativeness.
Yeah.
And I did have a takeaway from that. I learned from that. I was very upset at that review. Although I still did well in the company, I was upset at that review, but then I reflected on it and I was like, maybe I should tone it down.
Yeah.
If I want to continue growing in the trajectory that I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an important thing, but I still have that in me. I have to temper that. So that's why I identified the most with the outlaw.
So tell me if this resonates at all. I'm curious. We're going to go down a little path here. But, in lending, and you've been in it as long as I have, so you and I have both seen that often the intent of the guidelines ends up alienating or forcing out people that the spirit of the guidelines are intended to support.
I use that all the time, the spirit of the guideline.
And so, I know what you're saying because there's history in this of, people being marginalized through laws, guidelines, regulation. Mm-hmm. And so, when you say outlaw, what I immediately thought of was Robin Hood.
Yeah.
I thought of the person who's
Sure.
not trying to be a vigilante, but who's going to try to do right by the people you want to serve.
Yeah.
And sometimes that puts you in conflict with, what you're reading.
That resonates perfectly.
And you want to solve it. You want to get in there and it's almost like this protector of the people type of a feeling too, which I get from you from the ruler and the control, and because you have a mastery of your craft. Mm-hmm. Like, when you say I give expert advice, like, no, I know you do. You know everything backwards and forwards. Mm-hmm. You know it down to the period, and so you're able to have a mastery and a control over it, and over yourself, because obviously you're very disciplined. I don't know what level of the Marine and the family all poured into that, but clearly, like, it's something you value and hold true.
Sure.
So, but then yes, I like that you threw the caregiver in there. Sometimes men have a problem, like, getting a little soft.
Yeah, that's not my strong skill.
No, but it is because you're full of shit, because you have a couch in your office.
Yeah.
And you literally got not emotional, but you got raw when you're saying, like, sometimes we have to get real with each other.
Yeah.
And like that's a very, like, masculine, like, positive masculinity trait, where you're, like, not afraid to talk about real stuff with somebody, because it matters. You even mentioned it. Sometimes we got to talk about stuff outside work, because that's what is impacting everything else.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good blend. I think the outlaw and the ruler and the caregiver is a great blend. And so what that gives us the opportunity to do, is start to zoom in on these core values and the things that you value, and focus on making that the lens for your messaging.
Okay.
And so as we progress through today, we'll get into creating content ideas, we'll get into strategy, and then that'll allow you to say, okay, so kind of knowing what matters to me. When I'm going to put out an article, a video, a message, am I rooted in the stuff that's important to me? And that doesn't mean you can't every now and then be the jester in something. It doesn't mean you can't flex. You're a multifaceted human being. You definitely like to have fun and you can be silly. You for sure can. But it just, for me, this is a helpful exercise to kind of identify the core things. And so let me just go through it with you real quick as we wrap up here. So I'm going to kind of read back some of the things I wrote down, and then we're going to try to put it in order a little bit on what matters most to you. So hard work and discipline. I'm going to put that down. That's, I feel, one of your core values that you honor, that you respect, that you value. Accountability. I'm going to put that down for yourself and others. I'm going to put down smart and resourceful, but I'm going to kind of caveat that with mastery a little bit.
Okay.
Because I feel like you have an intent to be great and to know your stuff and to not be like a layperson in the business, but to be a master of the business.
Subject matter expert.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
It's me, yeah.
Totally. And then I'm going to put down supportive, which to me is this caregiver aspect of, because you can tell like you care about your people. You want them to be successful. You want to pour into them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what matters to you. Is there anything you'd add to that list? Hard work, discipline, accountability, personal responsibility, smart, resourceful, mastery, SME, supportive, caregiver.
No, that's a pretty good list.
It's a pretty good list, right? All right. So we're going to use those as your pillars of your kind of personal brand to start to reflect that in all the stuff you do. Because with a view like this, if you're recruiting people, you want them to know this. You want them to, if they watch your content, you want them to know this. If you're having a customer look you up online, you want them to know this. You know, if you have a new loan officer or a new business partner, you want them to know this. And that's the point of, like, when we look at marketing and branding, is you want to be able to communicate these things in all the things you're doing so that you have that consistency and that repetition, so that even people who don't personally know you, like, I've never met Mario, but I'll tell you what, the guy's hardworking. He's supportive. The guy's accountable. The guy cares about his team. And does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
That's what we want. We want that reputation.
Seems hard to do.
Yeah, but it's going to be easier to explain and hard to execute.
Right.
Hard to execute because it's all going to be done through consistency and intention. But people get distracted, people get tired, people get lazy, and they don't do the work. But I have a feeling you're going to do the work.
Oh, I'm doing the work.
You're doing the work.
I'm setting the example.
That's right. All right. How do you feel about this segment? Good? You ready to go?
I feel good. I was going to ask you, do you have a minor in psychology? Because you really dug deep into my heart.
So here's as we end this segment, here's my encouragement. We're going to feed you back all this stuff. We're going to give it all to you and let you sit on it. And what I hope you do in your own journey, as you're making content, as you're leaning on your people, is to always come back to this and go, is this still right? Because you can change, dude.
Right.
Humans change. You might turn into way more of a caregiver later in your career. It might shift dramatically. Who knows? We don't know. But that's okay. Your awareness of it is what matters. And so just today, though, this is what burns in your heart. And so, like I said before, this is me bringing you things that I've learned from tons of other people out there who are doing this all day long. You know, the Chris Does of the world, the Gary Vaynerchuks, like, these guys are leaning into this in different ways. And so all I'm doing is trying to learn too. And so I'm telling you, even doing this brand new stuff now, you're my fourth, time. I'm learning the same way that you're learning, just by doing.
Right.
So let's go do some more stuff. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Okay, we have to come up with a new transition because the fist. I gotta leave it in. We're leaving this whole part in. What do we do? What do we do, Adam? What's our transition? No, we can't. All right, next scene. And we're live. All right. This is going to be our social media audit, and the reason we went from kind of the deep stuff to the surface stuff is because we're trying to, in marketing, we're trying to create this cohesion.
Okay.
You know, between what you value and what you believe and what you live out in your day-to-day to what people experience when they start to bump into your quote brand on social media. And so we're going to take a look at LinkedIn first, and then we're going to go through Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, which is great because I've been on some of these where someone's like, I don't even have an Instagram. I'm like,
right.
Excellent. But the reality is, this is where people are starting their first impressions now.
Sure.
So whether you're recruiting somebody, talking to a customer, they are Googling you, they are looking you up, and they are interfacing with this. So let's start with LinkedIn. I like what you did here. And by the way, I got my book because if you remember, we talked about hardworking and discipline, right? We talked about accountability and personal responsibility, smart, resourceful, mastery, and supportive, and like there for your team, and that caregiver concept. So when we think of those kind of 4 pillars of brand, we want to see, are those coming through? And so, granted, it's really hard to like, a headshot shows like hardworking. Like, you know, it's really hard to like, have that like actually translate, sure. But we can start to find pieces of that to showcase certain things. So the first thing, I got to give you props because I already cheated, and we looked at all these other platforms. Your headshot is universal, which is great. That's a big mistake people make, is they have different versions of themselves, and you can't tell who's who. So you're crushing that. You have a personalized banner, which I love. Now, granted, this looks a little stocky, like a stock image to me, right?
It
like
is.
It's grabbed somewhere. And again, these are opportunities to use imagery to connect to personal values and brand values, or to connect to like local vibe. You know, you could have the cityscape, you could have things that are monuments around where you live that people can be like, oh, he's one of us, he lives here, type of a feeling. But I do like that the name's here, social's here, context information's here. So this is looking good to start. So let's scroll down a little bit. Forget the suggested for you part because that's not what people see. So let's scroll down past analytics. Great. Okay. So the first thing that I noticed is that you have some activity, which is a good start. And we're going to build on that in the social media strategy session coming up. But a lot of people lack this, and so they're invisible. But what I didn't notice is there's 2 opportunities here. And don't worry about writing this down. We're going to deliver this to you. And our team is going to come through and skin all this with you. But there's no featured post. So the featured post, you can do that on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. You can all pin posts or feature posts.
Oh, no, I wasn't aware.
And that is going to be basically like the first thing someone sees.
Okay.
So we'll figure that out, what it should be. We'll talk about that. But it's your first place to like, I'm Mario. Like, they're gonna see that right away, and it's their first glimpse into what you want to show them.
Okay.
The best part about social is you get to curate what everyone sees. So you're in control of what they see.
Sure.
Which is fantastic because that means you can deliver up things that reinforce your brand strategy / your personal brand strategy. And really, so the featured post is missing. We'll get to that. Go ahead and scroll down some more. Activity is good. We'll get to that. Okay, perfect. About. You'd be surprised how many people scan the about section on somebody. And everybody mails it in. Everybody mails in the about section because it's just, we're moving on. But people read this. So we're going to have you rewrite this.
Yeah, that was written by Chris Butterfield.
Absolutely. It was absolutely. It's
Depot.
written, yeah, it's 100%. It's not even you. It's just about Loan Depot. So, and another pro tip on this for everyone that's following along, dear God, please write it in first person. We somehow write bios in third person, but we all know it's you writing it.
I'm just, as if.
You've never read this before in your life.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. And then down here under experience, we'll flip over to mine in 1 second so you can see the difference. But you actually get to edit this and fill in information. You can store videos here. You can actually write copy and text about what you're doing here. And this is a chance for you to share more about like why you're doing what you're doing. So go ahead and jump here. Search for Alec Hanson. We really have to find another one that's not me, by the way. It's not just me showing off my own. View full profile. Look at that new headshot though, clean. That's a lot of weight loss there. It's gonna load. Please God, load. Just leave this in.
Let's try it
Keep it
again.
running.
There you go.
All right. So you notice that this shows more nerdiness and more personality, right? So even from this, you get to see that this guy is a dork, right? And then as we scroll down, here's the featured section.
Okay.
So now you can put videos here, right? And
Okay.
I just released a really fun 8-minute video on marketing that you saw,
Yeah.
So that's up here now. Go ahead and go down. You can see, forget the activity. Right there. About, hey, thanks for visiting my profile. I'm Alex, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Then look what I did here. Keep scrolling down. Video and text about my job and what I do.
Nice.
So these little touches, these little flares, and they translate to all of them. Facebook has the same opportunity. I'll show, this just gives people a little more insight into your personality. And yes, it may be a glimpse. It may be someone going there just for a moment. But those are what brand impressions do. They create that little headspace moment. And now you get to see a little bit more about the person. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So all in all, you got a good start. We'll clean up the banner. We'll get your bio going. Let's go ahead and get over into Facebook. Perfect. Now just so you know, I made Mario go to his personal page. Everyone should have a business page strategy. We're going to handle that after the cameras are not rolling.
Yeah.
The reality is, when somebody goes to Facebook, they're not going to go to your business page.
They're not.
People don't follow business pages. You should have a business page strategy. That's a whole different segment, but this is what they see, right? So the first thing I see is hugs. Now, the picture's not very clear.
No.
And I get that because what happens if you click it, it's probably going to be a big picture. Yes, and it's zooming in on it, right? So go ahead and X out. So this is an opportunity for intention.
Okay.
You did it because you're following the Facebook rules, which was you just picked a banner, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's adorable, and it's great.
And I did that a long time ago.
Of course. So, and by the way, that's most people's social. They do it, and then they
They don't
ignore
update
it.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that somebody's looking at this, and they're trying to decide if they're going to do a loan with you. And this is, so you again.
Probably a nice, clean family picture would be
Yeah,
better.
I think so, but that's up to you. And so we'll strategize on this. I don't think that on a personal Facebook page it should be like Loan Depot punching someone in the face,
Yeah.
because that's not who you are.
Right.
But you can still show your personality. You can show what matters to you, in a way that can translate for your brand impression. But I notice you got this going, which is great. So we'll mess with that. Let's kick down a little bit, just for a quick highlight. So bio opportunities. This is another major mistake people make, is you do have a business page. I've seen it. We're not going to go there. But right here, I work at Loan Depot. You work at your business page.
Okay, the link to the business page?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you see the distinction?
Can you do that there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and this is a normal mistake. It's not even a big deal, except that if you want to keep, so the power, as you grow your brand or your reach or your influence, the business page can give you opportunity to advertise. And that could be part of your long-term strategy. Is I want to run meta ads and Facebook ads at some point, if that's in your mind. Well, to do that, you need an audience that likes your business page. And so you want to get your customers in there. And so instead of sending them to Loan Depot, which is great, like, yay, send them to your business page.
Is that an actual link?
Absolutely, right? You're going to go right to Loan Depot's.
Oh, wow, look at that.
So, just a little piece there. Go ahead and scroll down. A couple other small call-outs. Featured photos. Little thing. But this is a great opportunity to throw in a photo of your family. It's a great opportunity to throw in a photo of your service, if that's part of what you're proud of. It's a great opportunity to intentionally pick what you show at the top of your page.
Sure.
To give that impression of like, who is this Mario guy? What does he care about? What does he do?
I'll be honest with you though, like if I'm looking at a loan officer candidate, for example,
Yep.
I don't think that I ever look at their featured.
In my opinion,
Now I will.
In my opinion, it's a little, like, we're getting a little nitpicky. It's okay.
Right.
Like, we're getting a little micro focused. But the good news is that these are micro impressions. And so those micro impressions, they go into your brain. Like, even if you're scrolling through their page and you're not really seeing it, you're seeing something, it's making an impression.
Got it.
And the point is, these impressions add up. So all these things that you're experiencing start adding up and creating, how else to say this? Humans, by nature, judge everything immediately, very quickly.
And visually.
We see something and we are making a judgment. And so with social, the opportunity is, and it's an unconscious judgment. Like it's just happening. We're just judging good, bad, like it, don't like it, threat, non-threat. So all these little things are playing in your subconscious and creating that judgment moment.
Sure.
So I get it. We're getting a little micro, but like I think intention matters.
It does.
And I think that like as you're more intentional, that those impressions add up for a customer or a recruit or anybody like that. Make sense? Okay. So let's kind of skip over a little bit. We're hitting macro topics. Let's go to Instagram. Great opportunity here. The bio. You got a little space to communicate something. And this gives me something. Family man, veteran, mortgage subject matter expert. Okay, I'm with it. But we can buff it out a little bit more. We can share a little more insight. Maybe we can put emojis in there. Instagram's a younger crowd. We could throw some more stuff in there that makes it kind of pop a little bit. For links, you have Facebook link. What's the other link right there? I'm curious.
No clue.
I like that answer. Let's see what it is. Okay, website, not too bad. But a lot of people, so this is an opportunity to take a little road trip to Linktree.
Linktree.
Yeah, Linktree is an interesting little landing page where you can build a series of, it's a gateway. It's a gateway website.
Okay.
And so Linktree could have all of your social media links. It could have YouTube videos. It could have articles you've written. It could have apply now button. It's just a gateway. And so on social media, having a Linktree, or there's other properties like that you can quickly give somebody a gateway to access different areas.
Okay.
Is a cool link replacement strategy. So
Sure.
we'll build that out and we'll talk about that. Now, the only thing that I'll show you down here as we scroll a little bit is go ahead and hover over this, click it, click the three dots, and you can say, where's the pin? We're doing a lot, where's the pin post? Isn't it the three dots? We're leaving this in because this is just
right
raw.
here?
No,
Click out for a second.
click out for a sec, go to another video.
Try share too. And it might have added an extra step. Scroll down. Hit cancel. Maybe on mobile.
So it's probably just on mobile.
only.
All right, so Movie Magic, mobile, to show the thing, because I'm an idiot. But we're just going to let this roll. My point is, on mobile, go ahead and close that out. You can pin this to the top of your, pin whatever videos you want to the top 3 spaces in Instagram.
Okay.
And you can do the same thing with TikTok. And the power of that is you get to show what the first 3 videos you want anyone to see to be. And so, like, for example, this first one, candidly, should be kind of like, I'm Mario. Like, what's up? Like, this is what I believe. This is what I do. This is what I'm about. And then you can show what other else you want on there to make an impression. So some people just pin one thing at the top. Some people pin all 3. Some people pin like viral posts. If you have stuff that does really well, that you're like, oh, this is a priority. But that's going to be a strategy we'll put on here for you too. All right, let's hit TikTok. Because your brand, how long have you been playing on TikTok?
A month.
See, this is great though. A month, and this video has 1,800 views almost. That's huge reach. Just 2,000 views in just playing with stuff. So again, you can feature these on TikTok. We'll show you how to do that. So you can pick the ones you like, put them at the top, do the same thing, and then but you have the same profile pic, which I love it. And so you're really doing all the right stuff. What you're going to see at the end of this audit when we do the Movie Magic is we're going to up the quality of it all.
Okay.
We're going to build out all the little micro features. We're going to get it all tight. But you have a huge head start over people who aren't doing anything. All right, so Mario, the bottom line is you got a huge head start on everybody, and which is part of your innovation and your spirit, which is great. And what we want to do is we want to continue to refine the messaging, refine the voice, because we want to start reflecting these core values as best we can outside of the actual video content strategy, and really let people know who you are when they bump into you. Sound good?
Sounds great.
And to start that, we're going to go do a photo shoot right now.
All right.
Are you ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Clap. How's the photo shoot?
Fantastic. It's
Yeah?
my favorite part, actually. It's
It's
one of my
ridiculous.
favorite parts,
Did you get, so the poses,
the poses. Yeah.
they throw you off or you're okay?
No, I like them. I
Yeah, you handled
enjoyed
it?
I always wanted to do Superman. I was too pretentious to do it, you know?
Yes, yes. Until someone's like, do this. You're like,
They're making me do it.
All right, this segment is all about, we call it marketing mayhem, but it's all about codifying a strategy.
Okay.
So we've been talking about brand foundation. We've been doing some social audits, get you set up. We got the headshot. We're going to film in a little bit and build content. But we got to go into the plan.
Okay.
Like marketing, as we were talking about over lunch, it's all about execution. And that's where people fall off. They have great ideas, they get all excited, they go to seminars, and then they don't execute.
Right.
Or they fall back into their normal thing. So I'm going to break this up into 3 areas. And what I want to do is we're going to talk about what you do,
Okay.
but then I also want you to talk about what you aspire to do. And a lot of this is going to also translate into what you aspire for your team, because they all have different strategies that you're going to try to support and upheld. They're hopefully all like in their own lane a little bit and
Sure.
unique and with their own uniqueness, but a lot of the stuff ends up being the same. And then 2, we can also talk, growth strategies, because one of your things is to grow your influence and to continue to impact as many people as you can.
Okay.
So we'll talk through that. So we'll hit the physical first. And this is one of the opportunities we have with referral partners, being local, being in community. And so for your personal strategy today, what do you do to maintain or grow your referral network?
So I try to leverage our systems.
Yep.
Whenever I want to grow, get more realtors, so to speak.
Yeah.
In the production side of it, which is probably just 25% of my day.
Yeah.
I either ask my existing referral networks for
Yeah.
them to refer their colleagues.
Yep.
I'll ask to speak to their broker owner to maybe try to schedule some type of lunch and learn.
Yep.
To talk about programs, or I'll go into Mellow Market 360.
Yeah, the data.
I just data mine.
How many agents are you thinking you're working with approximately today?
I'd say 8 to 10.
Yeah. Solid referral partners.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so for those of you that are tuning in and kind of gleaning, this is a guy who's spent years in the community building relationships, and so you don't have to do the stuff that a rookie would have to do.
Correct.
You know everybody, you make calls, you get warm referrals, and you grow that way. What's your expectations for your teammates?
Right. So depending on their level of experience.
Yep.
So let's say somebody that's kind of new in the business, only has a couple of years, hasn't really mastered the cold calling realtor situation. I encourage them to use our tools,
Yep.
our DPLP program,
Yeah.
so they can get warm introductions to realtors.
Okay.
I also tell them the same strategy I use is, hey, ask your existing realtors to meet with their friends.
Yep.
To meet with their colleagues. And then in addition to that, I also give them the data strategy. Go
Yep.
in there and don't go for the whales. Go for someone, that's about at your level.
Yeah.
So you guys can have that commonality,
Yep.
and you guys can, and that's a better way than going, straight for
Agreed.
someone, because you're not going to get the time of day.
So do you have any expectations on how many calls or meetings or face-to-faces your loan officers have to do, like weekly, monthly?
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't really like managing that way.
Agreed.
What I tell them is that your results kind of speak for themselves, and if your results are not what you want them to be, then you have to change something. And so whether that is more calling or more referral requests, or even calling your existing data, whatever that looks like, and
Yeah.
whatever you think you're comfortable with, that's what you should do. But I do also warn them, if you're going to do everything that you're comfortable with, you are not going to grow.
Absolutely.
You definitely have to get it out of your comfort zone.
100%.
And that is the biggest problem in the industry today. To be a successful loan officer,
Yep.
you have to get out of your comfort zone, and most people don't want to.
All right, let's talk under this category called local. And in local, I'm talking direct to consumer strategies that are local. So not realtors, but direct to consumers. what do you, or past clients, what do you do for yourself?
Well, I do exactly what you just said. I mean, I started in this business by just calling on my friends and family.
Yeah, so you have a call strategy.
Yeah, so that's basically what I do. When I feel like I don't have enough business or loans in the pipeline, I immediately start calling all the people that I've closed, and I start talking to them, just talking to them about what's going on in their lives and what's going on with the house, how's everything going. And then, of course, I end with,
Give me referrals.
give me a referral.
Well, so you know, you're a platinum originator. You're one of the best in the company. So you know, it's an interesting question, but I want to hear your take on it. You mentioned when I don't feel like I have enough loans in the pipe, I start pulling in deals.
Right.
What is enough loans in the pipe? Like, what is that feeling?
I mean, that's kind of different for a lot of people,
well,
right?
and you have. So I know this. You have multiple priorities. You're running an area. You're coaching. You're mentoring. So you you are choosing where to spend your time.
Sure.
So you know, I get it that you're not 100%. I'm just going to bang loans all day long. But you know, I'm just curious. I want to hear you answer this. How do you gauge that?
I have a number in my head.
Okay.
Unit-wise.
Yeah.
Not necessarily volume.
Yeah.
I like to have 10 to 15 loans in my pipeline.
Yeah.
At any given time.
I love it. So if you don't,
That's
you
my
start
number.
calling.
Right.
This is an example of somebody who I call it the vacuum effect, where if you have less than that number of loans in your pipe, you probably feel a little gut pull.
I do.
You do, right? There's this self-motivation to be like, I need to get deals. And then you go back to your strat, you call your book, call your agents, and start pulling in more business.
Sure. Now, I also don't like to go much beyond that because then it starts infringing on my core responsibilities.
Understood, which is it's perfect. So, do you have any strategies to keep in touch with your past clients besides calling and checking in on them?
I don't have a great strategy.
Okay.
I really rely on Loan Depot and the CRM and the
Sure.
automated stuff. That's really good. But I don't, that is definitely a weak point
Sure.
of my production is that I don't keep real good contact with all my.
It's hard.
It is hard. It's overwhelming, actually.
Yeah, 100%. So you're not the only one. I mean, even it's great that you're like willing to say that because people who are not doing as many loans as you are still overwhelmed by it. It's overwhelming in general.
Yeah.
Any other local events or things that you do that's set in the calendar, or is it the stuff you do locally or maybe more fluid?
So no, I don't have anything set in the calendar, but I do attend industry events regularly.
You're right.
I am a board member now of NAREP.
Yep.
At the regional level, I just
Yep.
got assigned to that. So, and I do attend veteran affairs meetings.
Yep.
I attend local nonprofit organization events, local board events.
Yep.
I do a lot of that stuff, and I try to bring as many people with me as possible. Kicking and screaming sometimes, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. All right, let's talk digital. What is your digital strategy today? Social, digital, what's your strategy? What are you trying to do?
So I'm a techie guy, right?
Yeah.
So I like putting systems in place. I do my own programming in Excel, so I do a lot of that. And I also bring that over to the team.
Yep.
But social media has been something that I've been coming up on right now.
Yeah.
I was weak on it a few years ago. Now I'm a lot better. And I know there's a lot of a lot left for me to learn.
Totally.
And to me, that is the next evolution in my business to really get strong on social media.
Great, so that's like an open opportunity
Yeah.
type thing. Wonderful. And then for growth, what's your current strategy to grow the area you're managing?
Well, I have a goal, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I need to each branch that I manage.
Yep.
The branch managers also have a goal, but and I have a core branch, and I'd like to hire at least net 3 people by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Hopefully 5 is my longer goal.
Yep.
And then each branch has to do the same.
Okay. Go with 3 to 5.
That's probably harder than producing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's
Production is easy compared to that.
I know, bro. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so given this, what behaviors surround this? Like calls, events?
All right. So events is one of the
Yep.
one of the things, right? Also calling.
Yep.
Texting, video, social media is going to play a big part.
It will.
It's playing a big part. If you look at my social media, it's very little to the consumer. It's more to awareness for other loan officers.
Agreed.
Tips, tricks, cautionary tales.
So when you talk about growth and attending events, calling, texting, video, like recruits, candidates, Are you sourcing them through Mellow Market 360?
Menlo Market 360
Yep.
and also our recruiting partners.
Yep.
And
then,
also referrals of people. So if I have a realtor,
Absolutely.
if I have a realtor that is now doing business with me,
Yes.
and is not doing business with that person for XYZ reason,
Mm-hmm.
I will say, hey, what happened with this relationship? And if it's something that's acceptable to me, I will go call that guy.
Yep.
I'll call that gal and see what's going on, and kind of talk to them a little bit about and see if I can rein them in, so to speak.
And so is this organic? Like you call them when you think about it? Or is it I call them every Tuesday or somewhere in between?
Organic.
Okay.
We do have a set, we call it Fab 5 recruiting calls.
Yeah, great.
And we do it twice or 3 times a week. But honestly, I call when I need to call.
Understood.
So I'd go above and beyond that because obviously I'm self-driven. I don't need someone to tell me when to call. I know what I got to do.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into all these. This is great. Great start. Let's start with the referral network stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have an interesting opportunity here because you have forgotten more than most people know about how to grow your business because you've just done it for decades.
Right.
And that's interesting and it has an opportunity, but it's also a problem because sometimes you end up operating organically based on all this work you've already done. And a newer loan officer or someone who's not necessarily where you are doesn't know all the things you did to get there.
Sure.
Like they can't understand it, and you've forgotten it. So one of the cool things that you could lean into that I'll send you as a follow-up is codifying your plan on how you got there into almost what would be considered like a roadmap, where somebody let's just pretend they're brand new. You could be like, here's what I did.
Do this
every day. Here's because your mentors poured into you. They forced you to do stuff. Like the first we were talking about this morning when the guy's like, call these people. You're like, okay, so you have forgotten more about how to grow a referral network than these people know, and so your ability to put it into a playbook that you could say, look, you want to do what I do? Because some people look up to you and they want it. They're like, how can I achieve what you're doing? How can I get to half of what you're doing? And it's like, well, here's the entire roadmap, and you could write a book on how to go after and build a referral network because it just lives here. Mm-hmm. And so one opportunity for you is to codify or document how to do it and really, really break it down into chunks of like, what do I do Monday?
Right.
Because that's where it gets overwhelming, but you have the
Kind of
opportunity.
like a coaching curriculum. Absolutely.
Because then once you spend, because you could probably bang that out in half a day, maybe less, a couple hours of really like thinking down and be like, all the things and make it really bite-sized and like here's what you do for Monday, here's what you do Tuesday. Then the opportunity is not only for your teammates but people that you're trying to attract. You can share the roadmap because as you and I were joking about at lunch, and everyone listening probably knows the same thing, if you had a full 2 pages of everything to do, it's nothing you or I have never seen before.
Sure.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
But guess what? Where's the problem?
Not doing it,
Execution.
yeah.
And so the power of you as a coach and a growth agent isn't in bringing something novel, which you will do some cool stuff with social. Like you can bring new things as they're coming in, but how to build a referral network with agents,
It's
as old school as you get, bro.
Everybody knows how to do it. It's just
But see, what
for the
they
most
need
part.
is they need you.
right.
Because if everybody knows how to do it, which I think they do, the thing that they're lacking is someone who believes in them, someone who can coach them, and someone who can hold them accountable.
Sure. Yeah.
And pick them up when they get the crap kicked out of them, because you probably didn't need that. Or maybe you did a little bit in the beginning.
I think we all need it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'll take that. I'll run with that. So that's one opportunity in this referral business is codify, document, build out the list. And it may not be things you even have to do anymore. You've evolved past
Yeah,
it. You need more partners. You call the best agents and ask to meet Johnny, and they introduce you to Johnny. But you got to think about the younger guys and gals who are trying to break through, who don't have that deep network yet, who can't call like you could, and they gotta do what you did. And so that's one area on the referral network I would play with.
Okay.
On local, this is going to be an opportunity for us to collaborate more. But let me tell you what I'm thinking. The past client connection and community connection stuff, it's a gold mine.
It is.
You are not alone in the authenticity you showed, saying it's an opportunity for me. I don't do it as well as I should. You know, I bang the phones when my pipeline's, you know, missing some loans, but your opportunity here is to put a system around yourself like you're good at doing to stay in contact. And you can use the CRM, we'll partner with you on that. You should use it as deep as you can, where you can kind of have hands off so you don't get overwhelmed.
All right.
And you're not just stuck in the, you know, whole world. But I'll give you an example that I was talking with Eduardo about. So I was telling him he needs to call 5 past customers a day. Because his strategy was very organic too. You know, he has a whiteboard, he's like, you know, what do I do? But he's got about 100 past clients. And I'm like, well, you should call them. And you should ask them how you're doing and check in with them, et cetera. I think for you though, the opportunity is community building. So here's what I mean by that. You have a great network of agents. You have a great network of past clients that are over in this bucket. Consider bringing them together every 90 days. Let me explain what I mean. What do you like to do in your free time?
I like to play golf.
Great. What else?
Wow. I don't have a lot of free time.
I know, fair enough. You know, but let me give you ideas that other people might like latch onto, right? So I have people who love like craft breweries. I know people who love like chili cook-offs or like barbecues and like get-togethers. I know people who love what's the word, like Tough Mudders, and like, you know, they that's part of their community is like they want to go like do a challenge or an obstacle course. And so and even golf's a great one. Like throw tournaments. Find a nonprofit down the street that you love and bring them in and have everybody kick in some money and have a golf tournament where everyone comes together, your past clients, your realtors, and they all golf and they give some money to a homeless shelter or a dog, you know, shelter or whatever's around you that you care about.
Sounds like a lot of work.
But it would shock you because, first of all, these nonprofits around you that I know that there's some of you care about are dying for attention and obviously resources, and they need money to grow their service. And so they have infrastructure and they have teams that can help pull stuff off. They just don't have ideas. And you can come to them and say, look, I want to help you throw a golf tournament, but I can introduce you to the golf club. I can help get all this sorted out, but like you kind of have to run the event. But here's what I can do. I can put 100 people in the tournament. You could tap your realtors, you could tap your past clients, and I guarantee you, you could put 100 people in there with a couple emails and calls. And by the way, you're already calling your realtors anyway, so you just invite them. And by the way, for your loan officers that might want to do something like this, they're always looking for an excuse to call an agent because they don't have one.
Right.
And so if they're running something every 90 days, they now have an excuse to call. And so what happens is this golf tournament or this fun run or this whatever turns into a marketing event. It turns into a time for you to bring the community together, and then all of a sudden now you're the reason they all came together, and you're going to get business, but you're also staying top of mind, you're also staying present, and maybe too this is something you elevate up to your entire team.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something you don't do alone.
Yeah.
You just say, hey, every 90 days team, let's come up with an idea. Let's find a nonprofit. Let's figure out what to do. Let's do a pie eating contest. Let's do a bake-off. Like, let's do a who makes the best homebrew. I don't care. Whatever people are into. And then now they all have a reason to call their agents, even the agents they're prospecting. They now have a reason to call their past clients and be like, hey, we want to invite you to this thing. I mean, I know people that do Easter egg hunts in communities. They just bring everyone in, they bring the eggs, the realtors are excited, everyone comes in, the kids go hunt Easter eggs, they have a potluck. And you think it takes time and effort, but what I would tell you is all marketing takes time and effort. You're gonna spend time and effort somewhere. But the fact, there's a lot of digital mortgage companies, purely digital, whose entire goal is to take our customers.
Sure.
But they don't live here. They can't make community impact. And so there's an opportunity for you to explore this, and I'll give you more ideas about how to do it without killing yourself, involve your team, and bring everybody together. It's the best marketing you can get because it's just people having a good time and connecting.
Yeah.
And then they all have one thing in common, you and your team. And so if you think about like marketing like a billboard or marketing like a TV commercial or a radio ad, this gives you way bigger return.
More impactful.
Way, absolutely. Because now you're hanging out with people.
Well, it's funny. I used to do quarterly picnics.
Of course you did.
Just
when you were growing your world, right?
Yes.
But here's the thing: as a leader, this is the part where you can unbelievably make impact, because now you know your teammates should probably do something like this, but they're lacking the imagination or the resources or and you could come in and be like, we're all doing this, guys. Here's the deal. We're going to do this community thing. You're all calling your agents. You're all calling your past clients, and now you've elevated your entire team. And then, as we move to talk digital now, you can capture it all.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine now, every 90 days, you're putting out content showing all these people coming together, Loan Depot, hugs, people are loving each other, high-fiving, and the people that you're trying to grow and bring in are seeing this, and they're looking around at what they have, and they go, this is bullshit. I need to work with Mario immediately. Like, this guy's like building something here, and my team doesn't even come in for office meetings. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and this too, you don't have to do it alone. You can enlist your team to come up with ideas.
Yeah.
And you can inspire them. So consider that. I think that you're getting a huge lift out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Digital. We're going to mess with this afternoon. But here's my 2 cents. The digital world requires high level of frequency, meaning you need to post often. And I start with this, you need to post every day type of a concept, which immediately people get overwhelmed by. What do you think when I say
I
that?
already got tired when you said it. That is,
Sometimes
every
it
day is, yeah.
So let me give you some ideas, okay? The first concept that you and everyone else should understand is batching,
Right.
okay? So if you decide that showing up on these platforms is important, which I believe it is, and if you believe that if you show up every day, you're gonna grow your reach, you're gonna grow your influence, you're gonna get more business, you can get business to your teammates, you can get more agents, you can get more recruits by showing up and showing who you are every day, then the only thing after that is, what's the strategy? Because I'm telling you right now, for me personally, and I'm on the internet, I show up every day, but I'm not filming every day. There's no freaking way. Like, let's just talk about you, for example. You're solving loan problems, you're building culture, you're coaching, you're growing, you're recruiting, you're calling agents. When are you gonna pick the camera up? And that's what people don't understand, but let me give you my parallel, if it helps. So back in the glory days, one non-negotiable my mentor told me was on broker preview days when agents were out showing houses to other agents, I had to be out. He's like, it's unacceptable. You can never come in, I'll fire you. He's like, I'll fire you. 1 to 4 on Thursday, 1 to 4 on Friday. That's when the broker previews were. Costa Mesa, Newport Beach, your ass is in those open houses. He's like, never schedule a client consultation during those times. If you get a call while you're out, take it. But like, your job is to get face-to-face with agents. And that was how I was brought up. So it was sacred to me, that 1 to 4. I blocked it on my calendar. I didn't put anything over it. Every Thursday and Friday, I was at open houses or broker previews during those times. So for me, making time for digital, for social, became a non-negotiable about 6 years ago, where I was like, I gotta figure out how to prioritize it, or else what'll happen? You get slammed.
So you started doing it kind of like halfway in, halfway out?
So this was my strategy. So I did that 100 videos in 100 days. Remember that crap?
That was crazy.
That was stupid. I don't even recommend it to anybody anymore. But one of the things I learned was I wasn't filming those videos every day. Absolutely not. I had a clothing rack in my office of different t-shirts. And on Fridays, I would basically carve out an hour, and I had my topics up, and I'd film a video.
Ad hoc.
Off my topic, and I would just talk. It had no strategy. There's lots of stuff we're gonna do later that has strategy and intent. I was like, why are standing desks good? Like, just dumb shit, right? Just absolutely like stories and things that were easy. Every day was different, no strategy. But I'd then change t-shirts, hit record,
Hit the other one.
film the next one, change t-shirts, and then every day I had my video to post. So when I woke up sick, or I woke up tired, or whatever, I still had a video to post. And that's what batching really means. It's taking content, doing it in a set period, and then banking it.
I think one of my problems is I tried doing that actually.
What happened?
I'm so anal about the detail and the quality that it just takes me so long to edit it that it was just overwhelming to do even 1 or 2 videos. I mean, I would literally every little detail, make sure all the graphics and all that stuff, and this was
I love
us
it.
just starting,
Yes.
figuring out how to make it work. Now we're a little bit better at it, but it still takes me a minute. Where what you're saying is you were almost not editing it; you were just whatever came out.
So check this out. This is my personal view, but I want you to think about it and see if it works for you or what you personally think about it. So your trap of it wasn't good enough or it took too long to get where I liked it is the same trap most people fall into when they get going on this. You have a high demand for perfection. Mm-hmm. We talked about this. You're an executor. Like you demand it to be great. You hold yourself accountable to a high level of standard.
Yeah.
And so does other people, or other people actually fall under like more insecurity stuff of like, I just don't like it. Like I just don't like how I sound. I don't like how I look, and they can't push through that. Here's this crazy truth. No one's watching your videos. But stay with me.
Okay.
You're on social media, fair?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your behavior like on social media? What are you physically doing?
Like everyone else, I'm scrolling.
You're scrolling.
Unless I'm intentional about looking for a recruit or
Yes.
something like that.
Yes. So you're on Instagram and you're doing the scroll.
And something will catch my eye.
Yeah. Like here's my buddy John Farrell. Okay. Go
Like
on.
something impressive will catch my eye of how they did it or what they're talking about, and I would watch the whole thing.
Well, that's also because you're looking for stuff like that. But here's my point. What you're identifying in the culture of social media is accurate. People scroll. And if something catches their eye, a cat video, a dog, then they'll stop and watch. Or something flashy, they'll watch. Content that they're into, they'll watch. But most of the time, they're just scrolling. So what happens, just like I showed you right here with my boy John, is I just blew by him, right? Mm-hmm. He took the time to talk about this cool thing that's coming out, and I'm just like, cool, John. But here's what happened. I saw John. Mm-hmm. I saw him. He looked good. He was smiling. He was giving information. And even though I didn't even listen to a second of his video, I could tell that he was talking about a mortgage product and a solution for somebody. I could tell. So, what happens every single day that I see John doing that? What happens to me?
You, in your mind, associate him with mortgage and problem solving.
Yeah. It's that same thing of like name an insurance company. Name one.
I mean, the ones I work with.
Great. Pick an insurance company. Throw the name out.
L&A Insurance.
Okay. Why'd that come to your mind?
Because he's pretty fast and pretty good.
Yeah. Perfect. And so he
doesn't post anything either.
Yeah, but he's found his way into your brain, and he lives there now.
Yeah.
To the point that when I said say an insurance company, his name was the one your brain spit out. Mm-hmm. So there are billions of dollars spent by companies to try to get into your head, so that when you think of something, you think of them. That's their whole strategy. Is they're spending billions of dollars a year just to get a tiny space in here, where if you think mortgages, they come up.
Sure.
So this is your opportunity. Forget the quality of the video. They're not watching it, which is going to break your heart, because I'm going to make you do great videos in a minute, and you're like, Alex,
some people watch it.
Stay with me. You have to hold in your hand two things, and they're both opposites. One is the video that you do right now in post doesn't matter. That feels discouraging. That's terrible.
Yeah.
The second thing you have to hold into your hand is it's not the one video that matters, it's the hundreds of videos that matter. Because all of these impressions build brand, they build connection. All of them. Every single time they see your face and they see the topic and they go right by you, and they see your face and they see the topic and they go right by you. Every time you're implanting yourself deeper in their brain. Think of it this way. I never found how to establish trust with an agent who would never give me a deal. I was like, how do I show them I'm good if they're never going to give me a deal? Like, how do I show them that I can close on time, that I'm really good at customer service, that I'm responsive, proactive, all this, if they're never going to give me a deal? And I realized, I had an epiphany, there's only one way. There's only one way.
Show them what you've done.
Good.
With other agents.
Good. But how do you do that?
Social media.
Absolutely. Platforms like that. And this is, I'm talking pre-social media too, where I was just running around with a freaking Nokia. The answer in my mind is consistency. Because every time I showed up at their open house and broker preview, and every time I called on them, and every time I invited them to a networking event, or saw them at one and went up and shook their hand again, every time that I was relentless in being in their business, they started to understand that they could rely on me, that I was going to show up every time. And so what happens in these impressions that you're making, these micro impressions, is that they're learning about you in totality over time off each one. But they're not necessarily watching every single second of every single one.
But they're getting to know you.
Absolutely. And so the power, and by the way, you're right, they will watch some, for sure. Like, they will watch some, and they'll get more of you when they watch the whole thing. And you know, when we talk about loan officers doing videos for customers, like there are some that will help a customer. Like that one video could get you a lead, for sure. But when you're talking about brand building, relationship building, growing your team, growing your influence, it's these repetitions that matter. And that's what people ignore. And they go, well, the video, I've spent $10,000 on every video. It's like, no, you don't, because they're not watching it. What they're doing is they're getting an impression of you, which should free up your mind to not take it so seriously. Like, it's got to be so perfect. You can still have high standards. You should have high standards. But now you can be like, you know what, I can just selfie this thing. I can just tell people what I'm thinking right now and post it, because then they're going to see that and they're going to make an impression of me, and it's going to build on the next one, and it's going to build on the next one. And that dinging is amazing. Is it you? No, I'm just kidding. It's Mario.
Smart. I just thought it.
No. We need to handle it?
No.
Leave it in.
Leave it in.
So, does that make sense? That's my perspective. Put your own perspective on it. Like, think about it and be like, I disagree, I agree. Make your own call on that. But here's where I land at the bottom of the day. I think that in order to build connection and opportunity, to make those calls to recruits easier, to make those introductions to agents easier, they need to know you.
Sure.
And they need to know what you do.
Yeah.
And they need to like you. And repetition and consistency is the only way I found to do that.
Yeah. I have thought about that a lot, and I know that I definitely probably put to the 10th degree, 10th exponent of what I'm doing right now. I mean, I'm doing 1 or 2 videos every other week or every 3 weeks, because again, there's a lot of videos I've done that I've just trashed. I said, no, I don't like it. I'm done. I can't even work on this anymore. I want to start all over again. And so I've wasted so much time in that video that it's also discouraging at the same time.
That's fair. That's a great comment. That's real though, and that's what everyone's going through. That's what your loan officers are going through.
Yeah.
When you tell them to make videos, they get discouraged. Like, everyone gets discouraged. You know, I had a friend tell me a long time ago this saying, and I hope it helps. He's like, you're never going to be fully satisfied with anything, because he knows that I'm a maniac. Like, I'm always like, it could be better. Like, always. He's like, I know you're never going to be satisfied. Here's what you have to tell yourself: just ship it. It's good enough. Just ship it. Go to the next thing.
Need a couple more sessions to get convinced of that.
But I want you to go on your own journey on this. That's the whole point.
Right.
Is take in my commentary, take in my feedback, wrestle with it, agree, don't agree. I've coached so many loan officers, and I'm like, you need to post every day. They're like, I hate people that post every day. I'm like, that's fair. Like, so for them, it's really hard to post every day because, like, I hate people that do that. But then I have to ask them, well, what do you hate about what they post about? You know what they hate? They hate the content. They hate it because the person's bragging every day. They hate that the person's trying to show how good their life is and not helping anybody. And so they really don't hate that they're there every day. They just hate the message.
Maybe they hate that they're not doing it.
I think there's some resentment. I think there's a little bit of bitterness.
Yeah.
So that's fair too. And what we're going to talk about in the content strategy is what you say does matter. What you say does matter. If you post every day BS, you're going to turn people off.
Oh yeah.
No doubt. So what you say does matter, but frequency has to be high because of the culture of the platforms.
Yeah.
Because these micro impressions are what win, and people just ignore that. We get so caught up in how we look and sound that we forget that no one else cares. They care what they look like and sound like, not what you look like and sound like. They don't care about your imperfections or that the video didn't have the flashy lights. Like, they're focused on their own stuff. And so these micro impressions just win over time. So wrestle with that, think about it. And then from a strategy perspective, which we'll talk later, batching. And you as a leader can lead your entire team through batching. You can be like, we're filming content Wednesdays from 1 to 3. Get your ass in the office. And you pull everybody in. and you got topics up, and you got ideas up, and you got intros up, and you're like, here's the 3 things we're all filming today. Get in your office, grab your phone, get a tripod, and film your shit. And now you're pulling everyone with you. So now at least they got 3 videos to share this week because you pulled them in. And maybe it's to hold yourself accountable. It says if you have to do it, you must make everyone do it.
Yeah.
So, thoughts? You gonna wrestle with that?
I am. There's definitely a lot of meat in there that I can definitely bite into.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do at the end of this is I'm gonna send you all this ideas. I'm gonna say, here's like my thoughts from how to build the playbook, how to talk about local stuff, bring your team along, film days, content days, batch days, because it's a huge opportunity. And then the last thing on recruits, just to kind of round it all out, document. So here's a challenge I have for great leaders. Do all these recruits that you're trying to call know how great a leader you are?
No, absolutely not.
Of course not. Well, and it's dumb. Like, how would they know? They're not here. They're not getting it. This is an unbelievable opportunity. So like, let me give you an example, a parallel. Like for loan officers with content strategy, just like you saw us yesterday with Eduardo, we talked about help people. Problems, solutions, format, make videos, right? And so the intent, of course, is that somebody sees that problem and they call him for a solution. But guess what? They don't have to call him. They can take his solution and go to a competitor. They could.
Yeah.
It's a risk. But with a loan officer delivering the content open-handedly, no gatekeeping, they're being the man or woman they want to be. They're being helpful. They're standing on their own principles.
Right.
And they're going to attract clients.
Right.
That's an abundance mindset. You as a leader who have all this stuff you're pouring in, you got to show the world what you do. Don't keep it just to this office. Don't keep it restricted to your offices. Show the world. So like record your sales meetings. Record your coaching sessions. Now you can take the loan officer out of the content you're going to post. So like if you're coaching me and I'm asking really dumb questions, which it's a safe spot. I should ask dumb questions. You know, you don't have to post me asking the dumb questions. You could just literally turn around and film another video and be like, I was talking to a teammate today and we were talking about this. And if you're struggling with this, here's my advice to this person. So it's surrogate leadership is kind of what I call it. And I'm telling you right now, because I know you know this, but do you think loan officers around here are getting led the right way?
No.
No.
No, I hear lots of stories about what managers don't do.
Absolutely. And so your chance is to just show what you do.
To the point that makes me wonder, am I doing the right thing?
That's great.
Like nobody's doing it.
Dude, but you hold yourself to a high standard and you just immediately reflecting that on yourself is what makes you a great leader. You immediately turning the mirror back, being like, am I doing everything I'm supposed to be doing? Is what makes you a great leader. And so I'm encouraging you, as we talk about digital and batching content, figure out how to document what you're doing so that people can see it. We'll get into distribution because social is one method of distribution, but you can also call or text or email this stuff to other people.
Sure.
Shane Stanton in our team does a great job of this.
Does.
He'll record something that helps somebody else, and then he'll put it on social media. He'll text it to somebody personally and be like, hey, this might help you. And all Shane's trying to do is help somebody.
I'm ready.
We're gonna build it out, and then we're gonna start filming some stuff.
Do it.
Let's do it. All right, we've now magically teleported to a new place.
Boom.
But now I think after we've done the strategy, after we've done the foundation of kind of who you are and what you stand for, we got to start figuring out what to say. And we're going to focus this entire session on things that help grow your organization. So you got a sneak peek on content creation for loan officers, which is great, because now you can help take your team through it. But we actually have some of your team hiding in the background right now to make sure we get enough ideas on here to get you going. And so what I like to start with is kind of making some buckets, some general buckets. So why don't we put up one over here called problems.
Okay.
Why don't we put a bucket up here called culture. And let's just start with the major two, and it's probably going to break into like 4 to 6 topics. But under problems, what are some of the problems originators face today that you solve? And feel free to yell out anything that comes to mind that are even like contemporary issues that the market's facing today. But what comes to your mind, Mario?
I would say guideline issues, interpretation of
Okay,
guidelines.
so write down, put a circle, a line there, write down guidelines. You might even put like structuring, like around that
That's
too.
what I would say, structuring or like which down payment assistance can I use for this person? Which would be the perfect program for
Programs.
them?
Put programs.
Okay.
What are other problems originators face today? Not just today, all time.
Rates,
Sure. What about rates though?
high rates.
So, okay, write down rates. We can unpack that. What else?
That affect loan officers?
Yeah.
Challenges for loan officers. Oh, referral business.
Yeah, I would say networking.
Yeah. So why don't you put down like LO, like biz growth, business growth, right?
Yeah.
What about scripting? Like how to help an LO know what to say
Okay.
in certain situations?
Let's write down. Let's put down coaching over here for a second. And under coaching, like the subcategory of under coaching would be scripting, but you could also break that into like how to have a business meeting with a partner, right? How to film a social media video, like scripting for social media.
Yes.
How to have a client consultation and bring somebody through the process. What are other problems LOs face today, or in general that LOs have?
Well, I was going to say lead generation, but that's kind of the same.
That's it. Okay, yeah. Biz growth, lead generation's good. Let's while our brains working.
Time management.
Sure. Write down accountability,
Okay.
because that's very inclusive, right? Now, accountability could be on time management. It could be on biz dev. It could be on lots of stuff.
How to prioritize.
Let's talk culture for a minute. Okay. What do some places lack that, in your mind, you don't or are important to you?
I would say the fact that I'm here pretty regularly.
Okay. So leadership.
Okay.
I would say inclusion.
What do you mean by that? She said inclusion.
It's very, very family oriented here, at least in this office, and you feel welcome and you feel involved and you feel part of a bigger team. And,
Yeah.
And something,
Yeah, connection.
Yeah.
Write down connection. What else is important for a good, healthy culture to have?
Communication.
Great. Write down communication. That's fantastic. I like that. I agree. How about effectiveness? Like effectively closing loans is pretty important for a culture, right?
Absolutely.
Can't close loans. Culture's going to be suffering. Effectiveness. What else?
I would say cohesiveness.
Yeah. So, how does it differ from connection in your mind?
I think there's a macro and a micro connection to the company.
Yeah.
So we feel connected to the people we work with, but I think with Mario we also feel connected to the rest of the company and leadership, like what's going on in the company.
So write down macro and micro cohesion. So you guys get the game so far, right? So what we're doing is, and this can go on, and it should go on. In fact, I would argue that you should have almost like a board or a book like this where when you have your sales meetings, you kind of keep looking at it and say, what are the things should be on here? Because what we're building right now is we're building a communication or a content strategy for Mario to go to market with and grow the team. Here's one of the things we just left that I want everyone to hear. The challenge with growth is that the people that you're trying to attract to you don't know anything about you. They don't know anything about what you believe in, what you stand for, what happens in the office, what doesn't happen in the office. And so you're left in a position of, how do I show them? And what we do old school is we call them, and we try to get lunches, and we try to build that relationship. But today, we don't need to do that anymore because we have these phones that can put us front and center in somebody's face every day with clear access to see what's actually happening in this environment. And so the idea here is, let's talk about guidelines for a second, okay? How many problems with guidelines are you solving on a weekly, monthly basis?
Weekly.
Dozen?
5,
12?
6, yeah.
12? 6 to 12
sometimes
problems?
a bunch, sometimes very little, but yeah, a lot.
So it's actively solutioning problems with
Yes.
loan officers, right? Every single one of those, if I took your pen for a second, if you had a little black book And every single time you had a deal, you noted it, you noted it, you noted it, you noted it, you noted it. And you put down exactly what you did, exactly what the issue was, what the program was, what the loan issue was, and you noted it, and you filmed a video. When somebody is watching your content every day, and they keep seeing you solving these problems, what are they going to think?
That I know what I'm doing.
That you know what the hell you're doing. So this is a great example of tying in that very first session we had, where you said, I'm a subject matter expert, I'm a SME, I know my game, I know my craft. That's how you show people that you do. Because you can say it all day long. You can say, I'm a master of lending, I've done it for 20 years, I'm amazing. But you and I know loan officers who've been loan officers for 20 years that are idiots and still don't know how to do guidelines. So now, the only way, am I wrong?
No,
You're laughing.
right.
I'm being laughed at.
100%.
No one in this office, and no, absolutely
no
not.
one here, no one here. No.
But the challenge is you take what you stand for, being excellent, being a subject matter expert, knowing the stuff, knowing how to fight, knowing how to win, and now how does somebody ever learn that you can do that? You show them. So again, this could be for programs too, because these are kind of connected, right?
Yeah.
You know, let's talk rates. It's a great topic. It's a great topic because there's several things happening. There's industry pressure around rates, and then there's customers' understanding of rates, and those are different things. And so, do loan officers need help scripting on how to talk to clients about rates?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Don't assume they know.
No, I think they do.
Absolutely. Because you're talking to customers, so you have first-hand knowledge. They're calling you up and they're saying what? What are rates today?
Yeah, what are rates today? And
I heard
can I
they're
get
in
a
the
lower
fives.
rate? Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
then
read in the news that,
I read the news rates, there's cuts. The cuts have happened, the cuts were done, and now the rates are in the fives. And then you just fall back on all your years of experience and you correct the person and you tell them what's really going on. I know you stare at the bond market all day long. So you actually educate them, walk them through it. Do loan officers know how to do that?
some.
It's
most don't. Most don't.
It's a spectrum. 0, suck at it. 100 is you. They're somewhere on here, right? So if you make videos about how to intelligently talk to people about what's going on, if you make videos explaining why you're waiting for the Fed announcement and what that means and why they should pay attention to this too, what are you showing them? That you're an expert, that you're hardworking. This is more evidence without saying I'm the best, because you can't say that. Everyone thinks it's stupid. You show them. Let's talk about this one for a second. LO biz growth stuff, biz dev. If I was brand new in the industry and I said, Mario, what do I do? You're going to tell me, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to give me your playbook that we just, you're going to be like, here it is, Alec. This, right? And you might go on. You might have micro strategies, like a little thing you can do today. Every single one of these is a video that you can make on what someone can do to be better. And every single one of these can be shared on social media or texted or sent to a potential recruit to say, look, I just want to give you some ideas today. It's hard enough to get loans. Let me share with you what I would do today if I was brand new. If this helps, kill it, love it. And what are they going to think when they start seeing you sharing tactic and tactic and tactic? What are they going to think?
That I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And
that they can grow their business here.
And they can
Yeah,
grow
that
their...
you're invested in them
Yeah.
to make them grow.
That you care.
Yeah.
That you're
That you
invested.
Make a difference in helping them.
That you would make a difference. And so this is an unbelievable example of, we were talking earlier, and for those listening, you'll recognize this if you're ever tried to grow an office, and just shooting the breeze and like, man, how do you get someone to call you back? How do you get someone to return a call? You reach out, they're local, and you talk to them. How do you get them to return your call? Well, timings you can't control. You can't control if the company's doing well, not well, what's going on in their life. Great originators and leaders always posture that everything's perfect. So you're never going to see weakness. You're never going to see them on the internet being like, man, I hate my job today. They're always going to be like, I'm killing it, I'm crushing it. But underneath the surface, there's all this stuff happening that we don't get to see. Mm-hmm. And so all of a sudden, if you're showing up every day, showing how you could do this every day, showing how you could do this every day, showing how to do this every day, showing how you give accountability, showing how you create content yourself and how you can help them create content, showcasing this, which we'll talk about in a second, do you see it?
Yeah.
Can you just put yourself in the
It's
future?
unlimited.
It's unlimited. And you can talk about this forever because you're solving these problems every day. You're solving new ideas and strategies every day. You're coming up with new things every day. You're building content every day. Now, there's unlimited things to talk about. You got to find a place where you can put this so you can keep building. I like Google Drive docs or places the team can all contribute in because the biggest thing you can do right now on your strategy is document it. Would you guys all agree that this guy walks the walk?
Absolutely.
Like shows up to play, cares, is in the game, understands guidelines, supportive, helping, maybe a little hard, but he walks the walk.
Questionable shoe game.
Questionable shoes. Cut to the shoes. But the challenge is how do we show the community and the world that you want to impact here all those things? And the only way that I've found to do it is you have to document the stuff you're naturally doing. In fact, this is an area that the team can help hold you accountable on because they can be like, please go document this after this. Please go film a video and say exactly what you told me to everybody else. Because if you solved my problem, there's somebody else out there with that problem and they need to know that you're the man. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Where else do you guys see opportunity on this? Or Mario, where anything else that you're seeing pop out on this? That now that your mind is running with it?
Yeah, well, the one thing is that we talked about a little bit is, and Barnaby and I struggle with this, with Damaris also when we did her video, is the length of the video. We got this thing that it's got to be, 30, 60 seconds. And if we're doing these smaller things, you could probably be even less than that as long as you get the video out, I guess. And the other thing is the perfection part, right? How many times did we shoot over and over again to try to get it perfect? And it's hard to kind of just accept the fact that it doesn't have to be perfect.
Okay, I got a picture of this, so we're not losing this. And we'll get you all this stuff when we go. So the next part of this is now that you know what to say, like you have some idea of what to say, how to say it is the next segment, okay? And again, this is gonna be my strategy, but take it and play with it and make it your own. But we talked about this yesterday, so you got a sneak preview on this, but just so everyone can get a grasp on this, you've got the answer or the solution or the warning or the opportunity. I can write, I swear, in segment 1, okay? And so, give me a guideline problem that you just bumped into and solved. Do you remember one off the top of your head? Does one pop to mind?
Yeah.
What was it?
The problem was that the DTI was 50.3.
Okay.
And we switched over to Freddie, and we're able to do it because Freddie lets you go to 50.5.
It's a great example. Great example. So, now you have problem, expansion, or explanation. And then you have the closing. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, the answer or the solution is that, or identification of the problem, the warning, is that a 50.3 backend doesn't have to kill your deal. It doesn't? I thought those were dead. Or so leading with that, or a warning or a solution like, don't just send your loans to Fannie without looking at Freddie. It could kill your deal. That's more of a warning, right? Mm-hmm. Or the opportunity is, did you know you could choose between Fannie and Freddie, and that could save a deal? It's framing it like an opportunity. The answer is, I just saved a deal by moving it from Fannie to Freddie because Freddie allows for a higher back-end DTI. Now, when you've said that, the listener, this is kind of, the hook, so to speak, or the intro. Now the listener knows what the rest of the video is, and now you can explain. So now after that, you could say, I just sat down with a loan officer, and here's the situation. Customer came in, we did everything we could to pull down the DTI, but we were stuck at a 50.3, and we were still getting an ineligible from Fannie. The loan officer didn't know this, and so if you're struggling with this, pay attention. Freddie has different guidelines, and we can get above a 50 with Freddie. And so just by switching the deal, we saved that customer, we saved that loan, and we got them in their house. that would be the problem expansion, where I talk more about it, about what really was the problem after the quippy part. And then the closing is, for you as a recruiting leader, like a loan officer closing might be like, if you have problems, I can help, call me. But for a recruiting leader, it might be more open-handed. You might decide for your personality, it's, there's lots of problems like this, and I'm here to help anybody. Even if you don't work for me, if you think I can help, call me.
I like that.
I'm here to collaborate, and our goal is to make more homeowners, so I'm here to help you no matter what. And you can figure out where you want to land on that. But all of a sudden now, you have your formula. And so could this be 2 minutes? Maybe, if it's a really complex thing, because you work with some complex stuff. So maybe the answer is easy, but this part takes 2 minutes. The way to think of this is take as much time as you need without double talking and repeating yourself. And that's a skill. You're not going to get that in like the first video. You might spend 2 minutes when you really could have spent 1. But like you're learning and you're getting better and it's a repetition. So don't beat yourself up. No one's going to care. But this also could be 15 seconds. It could be like a really fast, like bang, 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 we're done. And to me, if it's 15 seconds, don't make it longer. Be done. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So this same framework that we use for loan officers who are going to deliver social content is the exact same framework you can do to take the areas of opportunity, of discussion, the problems, the solutions, and put them into a format so that you can figure out how to deliver it. Does this make sense?
Totally.
You want to do another one? Is there another problem or
Sure.
culture or opportunity that comes to mind?
I'll let the mayors pick a problem because we're always battling.
What's the problem we just solved? You guys just solved.
Well, I mean, you told me about the tip income thing.
Well, no, think of a problem that has a solution that we.
Oh, that we just went through.
How about?
Yeah, what do you got?
Go ahead, Sandy.
Okay, one of the situations that we usually run into is that we speak to, my thing is that I had to speak to 3 realtors every day.
Yeah.
However, the realtors are very tight with these customers. And they say, well, I have somebody, but they don't let me talk to the customer.
Yeah, I know this.
Correct. So I just had one in which I convinced the realtor to give me the telephone number.
Yep.
I spoke to the guy, and the guy says that he's gonna be buying a house for $600,000, but he's waiting for the rates to come down.
Of course.
Guess what? I just told him that when the rates go down, the prices are gonna go up.
Yep.
And this state is usually a situation that happens instantaneously.
So, let me give you an example. What's the problem? The problem is you're being gatekeeped from the client.
Keeping the
No,
client
no.
from me.
Right,
That's what
100%.
you say, yeah.
So we know the problem. The problem is the realtor is not letting you talk to the client. The answer is, or the opportunity, or the hook, or the intro would be, I just saved a deal because I was able to help a client understand the market. And let me tell you why it's so important that you get your loan officer talking to your client. Right? Now you hit them with it. And now this part right here is, look, I get it. Here's the situation. A lot of realtors, they don't have a lot of trust in lenders. And they're concerned about a lender's going to blow up their deal or tell someone something that's not true. And so you as a realtor want to protect that. You want to keep lenders arm's length from your customer. I understand. But here's why I saved this deal. And so you know what the conclusion is? The conclusion is find a loan officer you can trust. If you don't want me to talk to your customer yet because you're still scared, why don't we go get lunch first? Why don't we build it so you know who I am and you trust in me? Because if you trust in me, I'll help you close more deals. So that's the kind of strategy and thought of how to frame this stuff, where you can also lead your team through it over time as you get better at it, as you practice it more, to really pull through this. So we're going to wrap up here. I'm going to tell you why, because we're going to start filming content. And we're going to give you the tools on this stuff to continue to build out ideas over and over again. But I want to come up with 4 topics for recruits. Okay? 4 major problems that you have solutions for, and we're going to do this. We're going to do that whole exercise of we're going to come up with a topic, we're going to come up with the intro, and then we're going to film you and we're going to let you go through the whole thing. So what are the 4 big problems loan officers have that this man and this company solve? We got to do guidelines.
Okay.
I mean, it was the first thing you said, right? Guidelines programs?
Yeah, I thought that. So you don't want an individual problem?
It can be 100%.
Okay.
But let's come up with another thing.
Business development.
Biz dev, how you can help someone grow their business. Now, there's 17 topics in that, right? We just got to pick one. So let's do biz dev.
Okay.
You want to do another guideline or another biz dev? Just pick a variation of those topics?
Why don't we do the broker EPO thing?
EPO, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
What's another problem? Let me give you one. Teamwork.
One of the buzzwords I hear a lot is scalability of business. I hear that one a lot.
Sure.
For other, like, cause I follow a lot of other managers to see what their recruiting efforts look like.
Yep.
And a vast majority of them are selling, we can help you scale your business. And when business picks up, we can help you go from 10 to 100 million.
All right.
Call us today to find out.
So we're going to do some movie magic now. Okay. We got our 5 areas. We're going to cut camera, and when we come back, we're going to have all the topics and intros built, and then we're going to talk about how to make them into scripts, and then we're going to film. Are you ready? Ready for the movie magic?
Let's do it.
Kapow! All right, so I got to go get on a call with our CEO, but here's what I want to do. Here's what I want you guys to do, okay? I want you to come up with a guideline problem or something you solved, okay? I want you to come up with a way you can help a loan officer grow. Bam, and we're back. So you and the team got together. You got some ideas up here. Let's run through them. I want to hear what your thoughts were. And then I already snuck in here while you were away, and I added some thoughts too.
Okay.
So guidelines, programs, again, going back to our frame, the intro is kind of the hook or the gotcha or the heads up moment. What do you got for this one?
So is your customer's loan being declined because of high DTI?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Now, okay, I was going to say the audience are loan officers.
Yes. So this is why you have to think about this.
But if you're a customer and you're being declined, you know what DTI because your loan officer has told you why you're being declined.
So you could do this, you could play this either way. When you say, is your loan being declined, someone might be like, I'm a customer, it's my loan, and I'm being declined, in which case they might call you, which is never bad. If you say, is your customer, like I put the customers in there, if your customer's loan being declined, a loan officer is going to immediately go, oh, this is for me. So you could play both. And then I even threw up a thought of, are you having trouble getting a loan approved with a high DTI? Could be another angle. Same.
This is more catchy, I think.
Well, declined is more scary. So
they're in a scary situation.
So I like
they're
this.
Desperate.
And so what I think is a good takeaway from this is playing with the extremes without crossing over the line, where all of a sudden you're clickbaity because you're so extreme. So I think this is a good blend. I like it. I'm good with you on this one. Let's talk about this one.
Does your lender help you mine for gold, or do they just provide the shovel?
It's catchy too. It's good. It's catchy. What were your thoughts on using the word lender? Because I added some other variations. What were you, when you wrote lender, what were you thinking?
You're the loan officer's lender.
Company you work for?
The company you work for.
So the reason that you might want to play with this is because lender could be, I'm a broker and I'm using a lender. And of course, so they don't help me.
How about
do
does the
anything.
company you work for?
There you go.
Does the company you work for help you mine for gold?
Perfect. Or
Okay.
and by the shovel, it's great. I'm in love with this one.
Dude, where's my commission?
Dude, where's my commission?
Yeah.
So I don't think we had any to work on that. That's perfect. And then I know we're going to go on that, so we'll see when we film how it
Right.
goes. Teamwork. What are we going here?
Okay, you're an LO on a team, but you feel more like a castaway. And so talking to the loan officers at the places that they've been, and I've been, many of them said, hey, I was on my own. I mean, nobody bothered me. I didn't
Yep.
bother them. But yeah, I could have used some collaboration.
Yep. So you can frame this with, are you a loan officer on a team? Or you can say, do you ever feel like you're a loan officer on a team, but you feel more like a castaway? So we'll wordsmith this, but I like it. Scalability.
When rate drops, will you be ready? In other words,
It's a warning. It's good.
It's a warning.
Yep.
So do you have systems in place to handle the influx?
Yep, and that's going to be
when
where
it happens.
you drop it home. Last one, you added a sixth. I like it. What do we got?
Credit approval. Can't get an approved eligible. Here are some tips.
And where are you going to take this one?
Are you running dual AUS?
Great.
Does your company allow you to run dual AUS, or do you have to run them individually? When you run them together, you have an option. When you don't, you have to intentionally try to do it the other way around.
Yeah. The other thing you might add on this, which we'll play with when we film, is you might do a two-part. So you could say, can't get approved eligible, here's some tips. Does your company allow you to roll dual US? You got to look at Fannie and Freddie, and you got to understand what your company's overlays are or what they have, because every company is not created equal, right? All right, you want to film these things? You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's rock and roll. 3, 2, 1. Let me give you 3 strategies that might save your deal.
Let me give you 3 strategies that might save your deal.
What about this, the Castaway one? Because I like the Castaway with the deal.
Yeah.
Boom. You did it, dude. Bro.
I'm happy.
So, I had a lot of fun today, dude. I had a ton of fun today. First of all, it's just great to get to know you better because I just know you as the leader you are. I know you as the impact person you are. But just to watch you lead your team, step into this, get uncomfortable, challenge, take it on, dude, you're a total stud. You're a total badass.
Thanks.
So, what stood out for you today?
The strategy, also the just the breaking down of the ideas, because I struggled with that, with the content and the ideas, but the way we broke it down in those sessions, it just seems easier now.
Good. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of, I don't want to call them false narratives or things that, like, there's a lot of things that hold us back from this, but I think what you chunking it down, just like you said, you can see how you can step into it easier. Don't have to put so much behind it, but still be effective.
Yeah, definitely.
And I did like how your head was spinning on all the strategy ideas, because you're like, oh, I'm gonna play this. I get to do this and do this. There's just such an opportunity because there's such a lack of strong leadership in lending. There really is. There are people that feel alone. I mean, you made a whole video on, are you a castaway? Because that's how you felt at one company.
Right.
And there's a hunger for it. And I think that's one of our biggest advantages is our people and our leaders who are willing to help other people.
Yeah, I agree.
So what's another takeaway that you're excited about?
The batching idea.
Good.
I do like that. I'm kind of throwing away my thought process that the video had to be perfect and it had to be a certain length. So I'm just chucking that.
Yeah,
and
done.
Just the ideas as they come, they're going to be as long as they need to be.
Perfect.
And so that's going to help me batch.
Yep.
Because that's a big problem I struggle with.
One of my two big takeaways I want you to hear from me that I took from today. Number one is always going back, and we're going to give this to you, but always going back to those core values you hold on to so dearly that we talked about in the very beginning. Mm-hmm. You know, your hard work, your desire to be the SME, the subject expert, the personal accountability, the ownership, and the caregiver stuff. Because as you look to make content, as you look to lead and coach, as you look to make videos, you know, always looking back at those and being like, am I still planted on the stuff that I think is the most important?
Yeah.
It's going to keep you grounded. It's going to keep you focused. One of the things that I want you to hear me on this, because I notice it a lot, that people step into this space of content creation because they want to help others. Like you want to help loan officers. Like all of your videos were like helping loan officers deal with challenges and strategies. But all of a sudden, people forget their purpose and they start drifting into this, I'm an influencer now, or I'm kind of, look how cool I am, and they forget that it's not about them.
Right.
And so just if you stay focused on those 4 key pillars of what you really value, I don't think you'll go off pace. And then the second thing that I hope you take away from this is you have an unbelievable opportunity to lead your team, because they are looking and hungry for people that are going to bring new ideas. And I don't even mean just your team here. I mean your community, the real estate group, like you're doing with the Canva and chat captions AI stuff. Like, take anything that's working here and that you're learning, and then just turn right around and pull the loan officers with you and teach them. I think it's going to be one of your best skill sets as a leader, because they're going to stare at you and they're going to watch you do it, and you're going to be like, you're coming with me, baby. Yeah. You're coming with me. Yeah. So I mean, I love the idea of you throwing localized events again, stuff like that for your community. I love the idea of you having film days potentially where you just like, we're all going, guys.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that I think you can do to win after all this is just to document the great shit you're already doing.
Yeah.
Like, just figure out how to take all the coaching and the trainings and then share it again so that the people out there that you're trying to influence or grow with can see all the great stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, of course.
Any final questions or comments for me?
No, I was hoping I could just borrow your camera crew for a couple months.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna live here now. You're done. So here's the wrap up or the encouragement on this. A lot of people make the excuse that you need this stuff to get through to the next side, but you just need your willpower and your intent. You'll solve the problems. You'll figure out like how to film on a phone, how to use CapCut, how to you'll solve it. How to maybe the next hire you make is a videographer.
Yeah.
But don't let anybody, including yourself, make excuses and to step into these new stuff. Just charge head on, and you'll find yourself in it, dude.
Yeah.
Well, the good news, Mario, is that I know where you're headed because we filmed it today, and their team's going to wrap it up, and then you're going to keep going. And so you're going to take us out with a clap right now, and then we're going to show everybody else all the work you've already done. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Wreck it. Take it home.
Is your customer's loan being declined? We have changed my life. Did you check the calculation?